Knowing that this EU fine is in place, with regard to the ad tech industry, what is the Commission's response to what the President just said, his response to the fine?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be with you, and thanks a lot for your question. In fact, you know that from Monday onwards, a federal court will be also assessing a very similar case, because in fact what we try to do is to defend consumers, industrials against monopolies, against behaviors that accumulate power in a given market. And this behavior was accumulating such a big power in the buy and sell sides, in the matching of the offers, so to provide the publicity in internet, that in fact it was becoming a kind of monopoly that, of course, we needed to face. And our decision is being taken on the basis of the antitrust laws, as it is the very same case in the United States.
Well, I'll tell you, as I mentioned, Bloomberg is reporting that Google is planning to make some changes and have this done in time for early November to its advertising tech business. But that would avoid a complete sale, to be clear, of Google's ad manager, which is the exchange that we're talking about here. Would the changes outlined by Google be enough to satisfy the Commission, or do they fall short?
Okay, let's see. We will assess what the proposal may be. And as I say, there is also this very same case taking place at the federal court in Virginia. So I think that it is good for consumers worldwide that the two decisions are consistent. And I think that your judges deserve respect in this point in time, as does your Department of Justice. And the teams will be assessing the proposals being made by Google. It's good that Google works to make proposals to ensure that markets function and ensure a level playing field in this digital market too.
Well, of course, you're here in the U.S. as UNGA Week gets underway in New York, here on the threshold of the General Assembly of the United Nations. I know you've been meeting with some of your U.S. counterparts on this trip, including Gail Slater, and I wonder what your view is on the current antitrust environment here in the U.S. and how much it may have changed since the Biden administration. How would you describe that? Well,
I think that the whole world learned since the end of the 19th century that you Americans understood that competition and antitrust regulation was there to defend the rights of consumers, the rights of democracy, the rights of people against abuses in the market. And I think that this is still the case. And I think that this is our mandate. We are enforcers of the law. And I think that even if it is with different ways to handle this mandate, Gail Slater deserves our respect, and the Americans, of course, deserve our respect. I think this is a very important pillar to build democracy and to ensure, as I say, that citizens, consumers, innovators can count on someone that takes care of this well-functioning market and avoids abuses of dominance in the given markets. And it is not something technical that deals with big companies full stop. It impacts in all of us because of the prices that can evolve, because of the lack of offers if they kill competitors around. So I'm sure that the mandate, the functions, the responsibilities that the antitrust authorities in the U.S. have to defend are very much at the core of the Americans' souls.
Let me ask you about antitrust, if I should even use that term, when it comes to the AI race. There's a big headline today with NVIDIA investing $100 billion into OpenAI, and it's the latest in a series of massive investments that we've been seeing in the U.S. The EU has been informally examining NVIDIA's dominance in the market for graphics processing units, the GPUs that are powering artificial intelligence. What concerns do you have there, and what might this result in?
So allow me to be very cautious in this point in time. You know that as enforcer of the law, I cannot comment on an ongoing case, but it is true that what we see in the digital context is an increasing concentration of power. So we need to pay attention. We need to take care. Normally what we witness is that it is not only European companies complaining because of the impact in the European markets. There are also American companies realizing that this could affect to their capacity to develop their products and their services. For instance, in the case of Google and Tech that you were commenting, it's true that there is a big share of big tech companies coming from the United States that operate in the European market, but it is also true that the benefits of what we do does have a positive impact in American companies too. So in this case, seeing these corporate operations, we could pay attention. We have a responsibility to stay watching what it is happening and to prevent any type of damage. But I think that for the time being, we need to be cautious and assess what it is happening.
Well, many would suggest that we're in a very different world now when it comes to business in the United States, with the U.S. government's investment now taking a stake in Intel, some of the deal making between U.S. companies that have been encouraged or guided by the Trump administration. Has this changed your calculus when it comes to competition and antitrust?
We've read the news. Of course, in any of our countries, there may be an interest to invest as shareholders in corporates, and then government's public money can be there, but they need to respect the same rules that any private shareholder, any private investor. And as I said, I think that it's good to keep calm, to assess what is going on, and if there is something to be raised, any type of concern that we may identify, we would come up with the companies being involved to clarify whatever may be needed to clarify or to keep on going in an infringement process if this is the case. But this is not the case. There is not something like that I can share with you right now.
Understood. I started our conversation by mentioning the trade deal that the U.S. signed with the EU. I only have about 1 minute left. Based on the elements of this deal, we had a lot of questions about what this meant for you. Did the EU score a good deal here?
We've been working together in the last 80 years. We have been able to shape very good things, the United States and the European project, the European communities, the European Union right now, global governance, technology breakthroughs, trade all over the world, security. And now we realize that maybe the terms that are being transferred or commented by one of the partners have changed. I think that it is important not to escalate any conflict, but at the very same time, it is also important to realize that we need to invest in our own. And that's what we are doing as Europeans, try to define and to do within the single market to build on our strengths. And that also applies to this deal, to this political agreement.